It's crazy how we have to schedule our lives around load shedding. Like, I thought I'd be done doing everything by the time load shedding happens, but I wasn't. So now I'm shooting this at night. I'm saying this like I don't usually shoot my videos at night, but that's always by choice. Now I'm forced to do it now.
Hello my dudes and welcome to the Buzz Show. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope everybody's having a good day, and if you are not, I hope it gets better. So it's been a hot minute. A lot has happened since the last video. Some things good, some things absolutely terrible, but hey, we're still here, and I get to do one of these videos again. So Netflix and Showmax have been releasing a lot of shows lately, so it only makes sense for me to make a video about a show that came out last year. I know, right? I swear I'll get to these new shows, but my heart won't let me move on until I do this review. So let's just start today's video. Today's video is on the second season of the Netflix series Blood and Water. We're going back to seeing the messy lives of the 1% of South. As the search for answers intensifies, Mahlangu encourages Fix to consider a complex truth while navigating a close-knit community of allies and enemies. While the first season was about finding out whether the two were sisters or not, the second season is all about how the truth gets revealed. Not only are we looking at the relationship between Mahlangu and Fikile, but the show also explores the dynamics between their families and friends. This season has 7 episodes, and each episode is between 45 and 50 minutes long. Let's talk about it. The show picks up 3 weeks after Mahlangu tells Fikile the truth. When they go back to school, Fikile reveals that she's taken out a restraining order against Mahlangu. Violence right off their bed. And I think this is extreme for 2 reasons. First, you go to the same school, so exactly how is this supposed to work? And secondly, I understand that this news is rocking your world right now, but blocking it won't make it go away. But also she's a teenager, so like being rational is probably not going to happen. Once we move on from this crazy opening, the show starts revealing the truth for not only the 2 leads, but all the supporting characters. One of the things they got right this season is the pacing. I think they really got it right this time around compared to the first season. I also think they listened to people's pleas when it comes to the language, because it was way more vernacular. I felt like I could breathe. But I think the downside was how it sounded sometimes. Instead of it being natural dialogue, it sounded like something that was translated from English into whatever language the actor could speak. I think I noticed it more with the kids than I did with the adults. Like, you could tell when something's been translated from English. I also really enjoyed the stakes of the show in this season, because it did feel like do or die. Like, you could sense Mahlangu's desperation for finding out the truth, and how Fikile is desperate for any sign that Mahlangu's accusations are false. You could also sense that all the parents, or at least the guilty ones, were desperate for all these secrets to remain hidden. It felt like everybody had something to lose. I also like the subplots that were happening in the show between the different characters. Although sometimes I wish they would be linked to the main story. I obviously have a few things that I didn't like, so I'll quickly mention them. Mahlangu was unbearable halfway through the season. I genuinely didn't understand her. I could barely hear what KB was saying the whole season. He was basically whispering. We went through a whole 2 seasons, and somehow we're still in this love triangle. Midway through the show, I felt that the escalation of the drama was like unrealistic, because why are we accusing Mahlangu of being into drugs and sending her to rehab with no concrete evidence? No. A lot of what I have to say is directly linked to the characters, so I think it's best if I just jump straight ahead into the next part of this video. Mahlangu is hell-bent on finding out the truth this season, but in a very destructive way, which is probably the biggest problem I had this season. It's like everybody can understand why she's fighting so hard to find out the truth, but can you at least acknowledge how many people you've hurt or you're hurting in the process? She's also frustrated with how slow Fikile is reacting to the news, which is also crazy. Her whole life is a lie, and you want to just to be like, oh, okay, and move on. Why is she turning into a villain? But I have to give her props, because she's a really good detective. She's sloppy, but she's good nonetheless. Fikile seems so lost in the beginning, and is trying to figure out her identity. Even though she wants to believe that Puleng is lying, things just aren't adding up, and she's starting to see the people in her life under a different light. I know in my season 1 review, I said I didn't like her. This season, I was rooting for her. Even when she took out the restraining order, I was rooting for her. The only thing I didn't like was when she went to the ocean with her wig on. She's a swimmer, so she has a swimming cap. Why didn't she protect her hair for a man? I also agree with Figile's decision to stick to being a Bele because that's the life she's always known. Both Ama and Kosi were really great in this season. KB was a sweetheart until he wasn't. Because in the beginning, he does say that he hates secrets, which, sharp, you know, I get it. But then after you suspect that your girl is cheating, you make a diss track accusing her of stuff that she didn't do, and then you also write yourself out for cheating, which I honestly forgot about, which is exactly why this was a bad move. It was dumb. I'm still rooting for this guy though. Just get it together, man. They also need to stop making KB rap because no. Like, I'm not convinced. He could be a music producer and I'd be happy with that. Wade was so messy this season. I'm so disappointed in him. First of all, he's not over Puleng, which also, you have this girl, Tahira, who's really into you and you're treating her like dirt. What is going on, Wade? When it comes to his relationship with Puleng, I'm a hater. I don't want them together. I feel like they were great as friends. Immediately no. When it was interesting this season, you see her deal with the consequences of her actions in the first season. She's trying to find the balance between sticking up for herself and not being an asshole. The part that made me pause a bit was how Wendy keeps getting surprised that people don't support her. She strikes me as a person who isn't delusional about the fact that people don't like her. So why is she surprised? But what happened to her at that fundraiser was f***ed up. I'm still not sure on how I feel about Wendy and Chris going from rivals to lovers. I get it, but I'm not sure, man. Speaking of this guy, he was just a terrible angry person this season. Figile is trying to get booed up. You're busy interfering, you're punching the guy, you wanted to be in a poly relationship, you're treating your partners like crap. It's like, dude, I get it, your parents are hardly around in your life, and that's sad, don't get me wrong. But that's not enough reason for me. Don't take out your anger on people who like you. That makes no sense. Sam is the new addition to the story. He doesn't have a lot of drama himself. He's just somehow always dragged into other people's shit. I feel for Sam. So Reese is the last person I'm going to be diving into. Dare I say, she was my favorite this season. Of everyone in the show, I'm rooting for her the most. She's always alluded to the fact that she doesn't have money like the rest of the Parkhurst kids. So her becoming a drug lord is something that makes complete sense to me. Not me supporting the distribution of drugs to minors. She clearly has to be the responsible one at home, and bills need to be paid. I just hate the fact that her downfall was because of other people. Like her mom stealing the money and that teacher running away with that, well, the other money. Which, by the way, 100K is not disappear money. They can find this man. If I was Reese, I would call the dealer and be like, bro, somebody took your money. I also want to take this moment to say that Gritelli gave a really amazing performance this season. She is easily in my top 3. The girls were acting this season. There are actually a lot of characters to talk about, so I'm just gonna skim through the rest of them. Zama was really fun this season, and I'm glad that she and Mark became friends in the end. Puleng's parents annoyed the life out of me. I'm done with them. I'm done. I initially thought Figile's mom was evil until I didn't. She still did a very thing though. Also, why are all these parents ganging up on Puleng like she's not a literal child? Zikhona Sotlaka is amazing at everything that she does. I am amped to see more of Lisbeth because first of all, why did they give her the name Lisbeth? Also, I need the good sis Sonia Mbele to like rail it back with the acting because that final scene, I'm not sure. Okay, I've spoken enough about these people. Let's move on to the next part. Starting off with the visuals, I thought they absolutely stepped up from the first season, which already looked great. I specifically loved all the scenes with Puleng because they just highlighted how beautiful she is. It was beautiful to watch. Shout out to both the cine and the grade. The editing was cool. There was just this tiny thing that I didn't really enjoy. There were points where they were intercutting between scenes, and I didn't really like that because of how different the stakes were between the scenes. It almost felt lopsided. The hair, makeup, and styling departments, yeah. No, guys, no, nishaile, and like, yeah. The production design team did what needed to be done. Well done. I love how I'm speaking like these people are actually watching this. I really enjoyed the sound design this season. The only thing I can critique is how low the music was mixed. There were some scenes where I felt like they should turn up the music, so it felt a little flat. And I noticed this because I have the same problem with the things I make. With the music, I'm still not convinced. Don't get me wrong, I do think it was better this season. It's just something is still off sometimes for me. Like with certain scenes, what I'm seeing doesn't match what I'm hearing. You know who I think should do the score? The people who did the music for Rhythm City. That was a show that really got it. Overall, I thought that the second season was better than the first season. And that's an amazing thing to be able to say about a show. They fix all the grievances I had with the first season. And it feels like they were listening to people's concerns. The cliffhanger was a good way to end the show, only because they closed the previous chapter of the story. The season was well received from critics and viewers, and a lot of people do agree that the season was better than the first. Although I feel it's fair to mention that some critics did not enjoy it as much because they felt they were leaning too much on the teen drama tropes. When it was released on the 24th of September 2021, it was the #1 watch show on Netflix across the globe, including in South Africa. Which is no surprise because I'm pretty sure that this is Netflix's most successful African original series. Some of the actors got praise for their performances on the show, and it got a few SAFTA nominations, which include Best Achievement in Script Writing, Best Costume Design, Best Art Design Production, and Best Supporting Actress for Xolile Shabalala. The third season will be out sometime this year, although as of the recording of this video, a date has not been announced yet. I honestly thought that it would be out by now. I will be watching, just probably not immediately when it comes out. And that's pretty much all I have to say about season 2 of Blood and Water. So Vele, Puleng and Wade couldn't be friends. Like, they just couldn't just be besties. It just couldn't happen. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below and tell me what you thought of my video or of the show. Also, remember that this is just the opinion of one person. You do not have to agree with me. Please consider subscribing to my channel. A new video will be up whenever it's up. Also, for anybody who's wondering, I do plan on doing videos that are not just reviews, but that requires time, which I currently don't have, which is a major factor of me not posting as often as I would like to. And until next time, from me, Buzz, it is goodbye, and have a fantastic day or night. I don't know your life. I don't know what time you're watching this.